Good morning. I just got done finished recording a 36-minute video on how to work the FC1 spreadsheet, and I will see if I can make that a little bit shorter in this one. So let's get right into it. So basically, I made this spreadsheet earlier this year for the FC1 2025 season. I made it because in sort of mid to late 2024, I was making major contributions to the FC1 spreadsheet, the Coastal Cup spreadsheet, and the Wibber spreadsheet, and I was like, we need something a little more user-friendly, a little more quick to use, a little more uniform, because it was taking up a lot of my time to run those. Now, the user-friendly bit, we're getting there, right? We're getting there. So anyways, let's get into how to use this sheet. So the first big thing is enter information in the green cells only, right? If there is not a green cell, do not enter in any information, don't touch it. That's not the idea of this. The only sort of exception, at least on the FC1 spreadsheet, is right here. Unfortunately, they highlighted the green and the yellow for the main drivers and the reserve drivers. These are not supposed to have anything entered into them. As you can see, there's stuff in here. And also, technically, these aren't supposed to have anything entered into them either. As you can see, they do have stuff entered into them, and I realized if I drag it over, it changes who's there. So I don't actually know if Blip and Lifen are here or if Hockey and Nito are here. I actually am not 100% sure who is who. I'll have to follow up on that one. This is the only exception. Unfortunately, they just used green as the highlighting number. On these sort of general spreadsheets that I have here, only entering stuff in this one. These are 0.1 and version 0.1 mini are the only ones I actually have released. Now I have started working on 0.2 and 0.2 mini. On the changelog, you can see this is the version 0.1, 0.1 mini, and this is the version 0.2. You can see what dates I've worked on it. Oh my. So anyways, let's get into how to actually fill stuff out. So basically, the sheet, there's three different sheet types. There's the worksheet, the calculation sheet, and the data sheet. The calculation and the data sheets, those sheet types are not supposed to be touched. Those ones are how everything actually works. And the worksheets are the ones where the person has, that's where you have to actually input stuff. So if you go down here and you look at a list of all the sheets, you can see that there are worksheets here. And up above, there are calculation and data sheets, and these do a lot of different stuff. And there's one random data sheet right here as well. It's very cool. If you want to reorder sheets, all you have to do is like drag them over, like here, reorder them like that, you know. But anyways, let's get into how to actually fill this stuff out. So we have all the worksheets here. We have all the calculation and the data sheets here. This is the first worksheet that you want to do. This is the first worksheet that you sort of land on. Now, it's very bare bones right now, but this is how you enter in the different season data. And this is how, like, the whole sheet's going to work. So you have the number of races that you have, and you have the number of mulligans that you have. And this will calculate automatically how many races are supposed to be counted in a singular season. This can be changed at any time. That's pretty easy. All of this stuff can be changed at any time, except for this. But we'll get to that. So you have points for bonus points for fastest lap, pole position, and fastest pig stop. However, FC1 does not have fastest pig stop points, so there's nothing there. If there are points for Grand Slam, a Grand Slam is a driver who gets pole position, fastest lap, and leads every single lap of the whole race, right? Just basically absolute domination for the whole weekend. Sometimes some leagues give points for Grand Slams. FC1 does, and so you enter in how many points you get in total for a Grand Slam. Now that's kind of important. So technically FC1, you score 40 points for getting first, you score 3 points for getting fast lap, you score 2 points for getting pole position. A Grand Slam just overwrites how many points a person gets. It's like, no, you don't get 45, you just go straight to 50, right? So this is how many points someone who Grand Slams does get. This is how many bonus points people who get pole position get on top of what they already got. So that's a little bit of a key thing right there. That probably has to be changed, to be completely honest. Anyways, here you have the largest team size. Now, this is one of the things, if you change this, all previous inputs on this worksheet, we'll go look at this worksheet afterwards, needs to be changed. The idea behind this number is this is not necessarily the largest team size that is currently. This is the largest team size that is possible with regards to the rule book. Like you can't have a team larger than, there can only be this many drivers driving in one race at a time, right? For this team. And so for FC1, you can have 3 drivers enter in for your team per race. If this was like BRWC, you could only have 2. If this was something else like Premier Ice, you could have 3, but only 2 would count. I don't know if that's actually possible in version 1.0 and 0.1, sorry. I don't know if that's actually that type of stuff is possible in these ones. Maybe I have to add that. Oh my goodness. Anyways, this is taking too long. Let's go faster. So now we get into the meat and potatoes of entering stuff. Now all of this stuff is already entered, but I will show you where to input stuff. So this whole sheet works on driver numbers. Now the driver numbers in FC1, they have just inputted them in order what they needed. You don't need to put people in order. You can choose whatever driver numbers you want. And so you can give, there is an orange cat outside my window right now. Frick is that guy doing? I don't even know whose cat that is, bro. What the frick? Hold on, I'm gonna go say hi to this cat. I'll be right back. Alright, I went and checked out that cat. I do not know whose cat that is. Hopefully it's not lost because there is snow on the ground. And it will probably not do too well outside for too long. At least over the course of weeks. Cats are pretty tough though. We had outside cats, but they kind of need shelter. Anyways, sorry. What was I even doing? Okay, sorry. Everything is referenced to these driver numbers and the driver names are inputted right here. As I was saying right before I looked out my window, you don't need to input, like FC1 is kind of inputted like drivers like all just in order because people don't really have driver numbers. Now, if you want to give people driver numbers, you can just give them to them. You can be like, oh, Paper Yoshi wants number, like, he's claiming driver number 1, and if Rocket Race is like, oh, I want driver number, 65, then you can give you don't have to input people, like, there doesn't have to be anybody here. Sheet still works, even if even if this one's left blank, right? But Blip Dash does exist, so we'll add them back in. Now, this is a pretty chonky spreadsheet, so it takes a minute. That's why I made the mini version, but, it's not really. Yeah, hopefully the mini versions will become more applicable in the future, right? These massive versions are just like, I won't ever need to increase. Like, there is no way that a single season has more than 1,000 drivers, and over 50 races, right? Surely. Hopefully, the idea of the full sheet is to be able to encapsulate any size league, any reasonable size league, and because if you do have a league with 50 races and 1,000 drivers, maybe you should consider automating the scoring system better than in like a spreadsheet. But anyways, sorry. Let's get into this. So you can enter the driver names here. Now this is also alphabetical order. So if you want to know, like, oh, I want to know what Lapis Lettuce's like driver number is, and I can't find him on here. What the heck? You can actually go down into this list right here and look up Lapis Lettuce, and you see he's driver number 30, right? So you go up to number 30. There he is. Nice. All right, so this is how you actually input the drivers into the sheet. So we go into Minecraft here, go onto the Frostex event server, and then you can enter in some stuff. Oh, hello, who is this? You can go in and you can start to enter some stuff. So we need to look up, first off you need to select the event that you want to get the results reported from. And so you go event, select FC1 2025 round, and then Las Vegas is 22. If you did not know, you could just go through and like read every single one of them. And then you can see, oh, Las Vegas is the one that we just did. So you can actually tab it press tab and it fills it in for you, and you hit enter, and that you have the event selected. So if you do /event, you can see like sort of how many rounds there were. Las Vegas is pretty goofy because it skipped round 4. I guess it works like that. This is just like the event right here. How you would actually retrieve the results is you would go /round results, and you would go R5-final, right? All I did was it popped up all the things. I clicked the up arrow and tabbed, and bam, I have it. So when you click this, this will actually be the results from the race itself. So you can see who got P1, P2, how many laps they did, and what time it took them to do. You know, if somebody didn't do all the laps, if somebody sort of DNF'd, it'll tell you how many laps they completed in what time they completed that amount of laps. And so all you have to do is you see Blip Dash got P1, right? And so you would go to Blip Dash, who was right P7, and you would put in that he did get number 1. He got P1, right? And you enter in that he got P1. That's how you actually enter it in. And then you go through and you enter in every single one. You enter, you know, Martinitas got P2, who got P3. Lapis Lettuce got P3. Let's freaking go. Lapis Lettuce got P3. I actually didn't know that. I actually forgot about that. And so then you go through and you enter in every single position that somebody got. Now up here, you can enter in who got pole position and who got fastest lap. You enter in the driver numbers in their respective spots. So as you can see, Track got the fastest lap. Crumbcat got pole position. Now how would you actually check this? For pole position, you would go round results R3 quali. So this is the Q3 for the FC1 event, right? And it will give you the positions of who got where in Q3. So you can see Crumbcat got P1 with a 159 flat. Pretty good lap, to say the least. And you would just input his driver number. So you can see Crumbcat is driver number 4. If you didn't know that, you could go down and look up Crumbcat driver number 4. Bam. Another thing you can do if you want to find it faster, if you, a little trick, is you do Control F, and that gives you a little search bar. You know, this is just generally for just like a browser in general, but it works in Google Sheets in particular. And you can look up Crumbcat. Now, of course, Crumbcat is like popped up here 100,000 times. So let's look up somebody who didn't get fastest lap before. No, he did. Okay, frick. Let's just look up, I don't know, Track. So as you can see, Track is number 82. It pops up this stuff, and you can actually like filter through. You can see Track is number 82. If you go up, you can see Track is number 82, right? That's how you can pop it up, and then you can just like, you know, exit out. But that's how you can also find people pretty easily, right? So you inputted Crumbcat's driver number. Now, how would you find out that Track got the fastest lap? You can see Crumb's pole number. You can see Crumb's pole. How would you find the fastest lap? Is you go heat info R5 F1, and this reports the actual grid order. And so this was the actual grid order because we had a reverse grid. We'll teach you how to deal with reverse grids here. So we had reverse grid, and that's why Crumbcat is down in P29. Dylan Gamer got a penalty for driving backwards in Q2. RIP. But Crumbcat got P1, TTG, those two gay. Different one actually got P2, Joker got P3, etc., 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 and up, because we had a reverse grid. But as you can see, the fastest lap for the actual race itself was 159.1 by Mr. Track 9377. So that's how you get the fastest lap. And so we went in and we put Track's number 82, his driver number here, and now Track has been reported as having the fastest lap. And this actually adds points. Whatever points you have here, it adds it to there. So let's just say the fastest lap, you know, we can show you this works, because if we just give 3,000 points for fastest lap, and then we go to individual standings, you will see that Track will, okay, rip. Track will now have gotten 3,033 points. So he got 33 points from finishing, and he got fast laps, so he got 3,000 points for this one. Looks like Ani Kaiser's the person who got the most fastest laps. Oh my god, looks like I got 3 fastest laps. Oh, I'm popping off, bro. Anyways, let's just say you only got 3 positions. And so, as you can see, whatever you put in here, that will actually add it on depending on what you got here, right? So that's how you enter in the individual result sheet. Now you do the individual quali the exact same. So if you wanted to figure out who got qualification, you can see Crumbcat got P1 here. They reported Crumbcat for P1. For qualification, how you would retrieve the qualification results is you just go round results, R3 quali, R3 dash quali. Now for FC1, it's a little bit more complicated because they do Q1, Q2, and Q3 in different rounds. So this reports P1 to P10, Q2, hello? Sorry. How you delete like all of them if you want to delete it is you hold down Control and you backspace and that deletes everything. So if I had this here, Control backspace just deletes all of this stuff. Little trick, a little trick. So I can tab in R2 quality. So as you can see, round 3 reports P1 to P10. Round 2 will report you only look at P11 through P15 because all of these people went to P3. Sorry, Q3. You look at P11 through P15, and then for R1 quali, you look at P16 all the way down to P30, right? And you input all of those people here. Now you have the individual quali results. Now, in FC1, when there is a reverse grid, we actually give points to the top, I believe, top 10 people. Because they got reverse gridded to the back, they get a certain number of points as compensation because there's a 1 in 8 chance that they'll get a reverse grid. The reverse grid is completely random, and we want to give them a small amount of compensation for doing a good quali and then getting reversed all the way to the back of the grid. And so how we would enter that in is you come down, we'll skip a couple sheets, you go down to qualification point sheet. This is actually how you do it. So as you can see, there are no points for qualification normally in FC1. This is how much, and we also have race point sheet. So this is how you input how many points anyone gets for a normal race. And so in a normal race, you can see P1 gets 40, P2 gets 33, 30, 27, 24, etc., etc. This is how many points somebody normally gets in these races. Now, if you wanted to have, a race, for instance, some championships I've seen, they give double points. You could go through and say, let's just say race 3, for whatever reason, this one's worth double points. You would change this 0 to a 1. Don't change it to 1 dash because it won't work. Don't change it to 1 space because I think it will also break. It just needs to be 1. Oh, no, it looks like it's fine. Yeah, just 1. And if you want to say race 3 was worth double points, then you could go through and you could actually put in double points. Now, if you wanted to be able to do this really fast, you could do equals this times 2, and that would be quite easy as well. We'll give it a minute to build in. But anyways, if you wanted to also change specific points, if you wanted to give a driver specific points, the whole reason I actually did this was because Midnight in Wibbers wanted to give Soda Soaker 5 extra points for whatever reason, even though he got P2, and that was not easy in the old spreadsheet. In this spreadsheet, you just basically, if you want to give P2 5 extra points, you could go through and say, okay, we're going to do a different point system for this race. So we check this as 1, paste this, and P2 gets 5 extra points. Please paste. Control V. There we go. And you could give 5 extra points here, 38 points, bam. See, now this changes the amount of points that you get for this race. Works like a charm. Now you need to know what position Soda got. Soda got P2 in that race, and so if you know what position they got, that's how you do it. But yeah, anyways, we'll go ahead and delete this. This is the exact same thing that you do for qualification points, though. In a reverse grid, FC1, as you can see, gives points for the top, I guess, 9 people. I guess they give points for the top 9 people. And so, as you can see, race number 4 and race number 5 were both reverse grids, and you can tell that because they said, yes, we're going to use a special point system versus the normal point system, which is nothing. And we're going to give 14 points to P1, 12 points to P2, 10 points to P3, etc., etc., right? So over here, they already did it for Las Vegas, but Las Vegas was race number 22, and they gave reverse points for qualification, right? And so Crumbcat got P1, so he got 14 points, plus pole position, so he actually got 16 points. Um, and he got 14 bonus points plus the 2 points from pole position plus the whatever position he got. I can't remember what position he got. I think he got P4, or whatever position he ended up getting. What did he end up getting in the actual race itself? He ended up getting P5. Sorry, he got P5. So he got like all the points he got for P5 plus 14 for getting for a reverse grid pole plus 2 points for getting normal pole. So he scored however many points that is. But yeah, but normally, uh, if these are zero, the race, if this is marked zero, race points will be counted whatever is counted as the normal points. If it's marked 1, it will count whatever it is below. If there is nothing below, then it will throw up errors and it will yell at you. So I skipped teams and whatnot. Team results. Now this is one of the best things. This is one of the best things in the whole sheet. So this is what I said before, way back here in season information. If you change this number, you're gonna have to update everything in this sheet. Okay. So generally, figure out, like, it's recommended to figure out what you want the biggest possible team size to be throughout the course of a season. Input that biggest possible number according to the rules and don't change it. If you do change it, I'll show you what happens. So right now it's 3. We go to team results, and as you can see way earlier on in the season, here in McClurkin, you can see Yakumo, sorry, was the #1 driver, or the first driver. Maybe they didn't score the highest, but they were the first driver for. These don't have to be in order either. This is just like whatever driver numbers that were there. So Yukari Yukumo was driver #1 for McClurkin earlier on. Now, if I win and I change this and I said, okay, now there can be teams of 4. The reason that this sheet needs to be updated now is because there are now 4 spots. So we go to team results sheets. You can see now there's 4 Alpigs instead of 3 Alpigs, and Yukari Yukumo was counted as the 4th driver of Alpig, and that significantly screws up the team standings here. That very significantly screws up the team standings. So make sure that this number gets decided on before the season starts and it doesn't change. That's what's recommended. And so here we go back down to team results sheet. Yeah, now McClurkin has Yukari as their first driver for race 1. Nice. So this should be really very simple to work in. As remember, you only enter in stuff in the green spots, so this does not need anything. So here's the thing, as long as the current team sheets are updated, you have your first 3 drivers here, and you have any reserves counted down below. Whoops, don't drag that. You have any reserves counted down below. As we're going to say, we only have 3 drivers entered in per race. As long as this is accurately entered in before each race, where only the main drivers are the top 3 people and all the reserves are down below, as long as that's correct, the people will pop up here. So as you can see, Van Wave only has Paper Yoshi here. Current teams, Paper Yoshi is the only main driver for this thing. As long as this is updated correctly, and I've stressed that 2 or 3 times now because that's very important, you can just select this, Control C, go over here. I'll enter this in for here. Let's just say this would be the teams for Qatar upcoming race 23. Copy it from here, Control V paste. This is very important. You need to go down to here and do paste values only. Bam. And then it will highlight this is green again. If you don't paste values only, it's actually all of the it will change when you update it, because this is referencing this sheet. So as soon as you update this sheet, let's just say like for whoever, let's just say Crumbcats now here, you can see like this changed and whatnot. So you need to make sure that like this doesn't change, or you need to make sure that you paste with the values only, and that way these numbers get saved instead of the actual whole equations here. And that should be it. As long as current team sheets are good, you should just be able to highlight all of these, slam them right there, bam, that's all you got to do. If not, you can always go in and change this and whatnot. Let's say like, driver number 7 was here instead. you can always go in and like manually change this to like whatever you want. You know, but at least hopefully the copy and paste should give you a significant head start for how to save this, or how to save like who's was on each team in each race. All right, and so this is the current team sheet. Whatever you do will pop up over here on the teams and drivers list. Bank. Now, unfortunately, they added, like, as you can see, see Paper is the only driver here, and then they have all the reserve drivers down here. And so, so we went through the race team sheet results. We went through the individual results, individual quality results, both of these, race information sheet. I don't think we've gone through this one yet. We need to go through this one. So this is what actually pops up every single time you go to these things. That's what pops up here and whatnot. I keep having to hide this, but let's not hide it actually. So we have here race number, what the race number is, the country that the race is taking place in. You know what? Miami is not a country. I will have to change that. So this shouldn't be country. This should be race name. I changed that earlier in the previous recording. That's my fault. It's not the fault of anybody else. So you go to race information sheet. If you want to change the country, you just come in here and change it to race name. Let's just call it, right? Because we have like the Japan, Bahrain, and Miami, Emilia Romagna. So here you have the primary. So this used to like, as you can see, we have tertiary. I think that's how you pronounce that. Tertiary, all the way down to denary, right? You have 10 possible titles to include, and you can include however many titles you want per race. If you want to include like the date that it took place, like sometimes you want to put like I don't know, any information that you want, literally any information. You could put like the previous season winner, like you could just say like, I don't know, date, previous season winner, winner. You can put in any information that you want, and then you actually go through and you fill in all of these, and then you can show it. You can choose to show it or hide it on any sheet that you want, right? And so we have the qualification results here. All you would do is you would click these right here, or you could also highlight this and unhide the rows. I will click here, and this shows it. So now you can see we got the date, we got the previous season. If we, do this out, previous season winner right there, and it will actually pop up as long as you enter stuff in anything here. It will pop up right here. So if you didn't want the rest of these, how you hide rows or columns is you highlight over here, right click, hide rows. Bam. There we go. Right? So let's just undo all of this. And so this is the secondary and the primary title of the event. You need to have like one title per event, I think. I think. Well, I mean, technically, you don't need to, but like, it's probably smart to have at least some indicator. But that's how you do anything for the race information sheet. Now you also have the driver information sheet, which is basically the same thing. You have the primary driver info all the way to the denary driver info, and that pops up if we go to individual standings. That pops up right here. So as you can see, you have this right here, which is all the titles of the event. You can have this right here, which is all the information of the drivers. And so like last year FC1 had it, so you could say what country the driver was from, if you want to put in how many like seasons that they drove before, if you want to put in like what's the total amount of points that they've ever scored in FC1, you could put that in. You could put in any information that you want. I ain't your mama. And the way you would change this is, if you wanted to like say what country this is from, you would just change it down here. You go to driver information. Instead of having private, you used to home country, and then you would go down and manually fill in everyone's home country if you wanted to display that. When we go back to qualification, no, actually, it's individual standings we were looking at. You can hide the rest of these, and bam, you have the home country right here. And when you fill in stuff down here, it will pop up here. Now, we'll just go ahead and undo all of that. Perfect. I think that's it. I think that's all there is to know about this, because we went through the information sheet, the race points, qualification points, the driver information sheet. That's it. That is how you fill this out. Now, if anything breaks in this sheet, it's probably super cooked, because even though it's pretty simple to run this sheet, if something breaks in these sheets, it's probably just freaking cooked. Hopefully I've covered a lot of the stuff, that a lot of like the cases where people might get caught up in. Mm, like, the spaces and the slashes and stuff. Yeah, I can't think of anything else right now. That's basically how you enter in stuff, and then stuff will populate in these sheets right here. Right here, FC1 has chosen, or like, all of these sheets are possible. At least currently, this is what's possible. You have the current teams, you have the race results from each race, you have the qualifications results for each quali, you have the individual standings, individual placements, which say what place every person got in every race. You have the gain-loss statistic, you have the team standings. Don't drag it. What are you doing? There we go. You have the team standings, and then I also have like team gain-loss statistics, which I don't think is working. It's blank, W. Yeah, that's why it's not working. Eventually, sometime in the future, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll do it. Oh, thank you. That's how you hide a sheet. Yes, that is how you hide a sheet. I know how to use Excel. I mean, Google Sheets and Excel too. But like, anyways, yep, that's it. Hopefully this one was a little bit shorter. 31 minutes. Okay, well, I made it 5 minutes shorter. Let's go. But yeah, anyways, that's all I have for this. Have a nice day.